I'm Michelle,
And I'm Ronald,
and this is Talking Squirrels.
the Middle School Ministry Podcast. Michelle, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Ronald.
You had a crazy week last week, I hear.
We did, yeah. We had our fun fall frenzy that we call our fall camp.
Fall frenzy.
Fall frenzy. Yeah, up in the Great Santa Cruz Mountains.
What's another location that you go to? What's the name of that camp?
That one's called Mount Herman.
Mount Herman. Okay, there was another camp that you named that I just thought the name was ridiculous. It's not this one.
Rock and Water?
Rock and Water?
Yeah, that's our summer camp.
Maybe that's the one.
And then we go to Hume.
Hume
Hume
I've
high
heard
schools.
of. Yeah, I've heard of Hume. Maybe it's just California famous. I don't know, but I've heard of Hume.
Yeah, super California famous.
So you went to camp, or do you call it camp, or do you call it like retreat?
We call it camp. Yeah, we call it fall camp. It's a really quick trip, which is nice. So we leave Friday after school, and they're home by Sunday at 2 p.m.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so like Southern guy in me, or Southern like church experience, would call that retreat, and maybe that's just because it happens over a weekend. Like camp to me is like summer specific.
Gotcha.
Or maybe longer than a weekend. But no, I love it. So that's your fall camp. You do that.
You can call it whatever you want, really.
Yeah, it's youth ministry. It's all made up.
Right. I'm like, camp retreat. That's the same thing to me.
You're not
It's
wrong.
probably different.
So like how did it go? How was camp?
It was good. Like overall, so we do this kind of fun thing where we're in teams.
Ooh.
And so what they call the fourth place, which is last place, is the happy place.
Aw, the happy place.
The happy place. It's great.
Is that where they hand out participation trophies?
Exactly. And for the second year in a row, our team has claimed happy place.
Aw, the happy place.
Which is so unfortunate because we've tried so hard.
Oh no, you gave it
We actually
effort.
tried this year.
And happy place.
And we 100%. It didn't help that most of our students cheat.
Oh, well, there you go.
And so they definitely are like, yeah, you're not going to win.
Oh, did they got caught cheating? And
they totally know that.
Points deducted?
Almost every team does.
Mm.
It's just ours are really bad at like hiding it.
Maybe next year y'all should go to a Christian camp or something like that.
We've thought about it, but you know. The other really fun thing was Duffy was our speaker.
Duffy Robbins.
He was. I got a photo with him. It was great.
I saw that photo. I'm super jealous.
Right? I was like, Duffy, I just have to.
Like, what's funny is when we talk about like youth ministry legends like Duffy Robbins, Doug Fields, like all these people, and like get them in front of our students, they don't know.
Right?
They're like,
do you even know who's in front of you right now?
This guy's name's Duffy. That's fine. Like, they don't understand. Like, no, like, guys, he's like the best. And they're still on their phones. And they're like, okay, whatever, guys.
My students loved him.
Oh, good.
Which was really fun.
Yeah.
And so, like, and I knew him. And so he would talk to me and stuff. And they're like, you know Duffy?
You know the camp speaker? That's awesome. And
I was like, yeah, we've met before.
Yeah, because at that point, he's just the camp speaker, right? You know, and
totally.
that carries some cool weight to it. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my leaders really liked him, which was really cool. So all around that part was great. But of course, you know, we're with middle schoolers. And so things happen.
What happened, Michelle?
Oh, man. Well, it started off with our bus decided to leave an hour early.
Wait, without you?
It was leaving without us, yeah.
Oh, no.
Without any students on there. So that was a fun little, like, 2 hours of me crying and panicking that we were going to have no bus to take our students to camp.
Wait. Your bus left without you. Like, did they not recognize that they were missing, like, everybody?
Thankfully, it didn't leave. I called my boss, and I was like, the bus is leaving. I don't know what to do.
Oh.
So I have, like, this whole other bus company online, the other line, trying to see if I can get a bus through them in an hour. And then, luckily, my boss got through to the company that had the bus at our church, and they agreed to stay until 3:15. Our students weren't supposed to be there until 3:30.
Oh, gosh.
And so we, like, me and 4 of my leaders are calling every single parent, being like, hey, can you get here by 3 instead of 3:30? And they're like, we don't get out of school until 3. I'm like, I know.
can you maybe check out early?
Right? Oh no, that's how dare you even think of
Was
that.
there was there a miscommunication somewhere? Or how
There
did that
was,
happen?
yeah, and it was my fault.
Oh,
Yeah, I got the time wrong with the bus. So I
it
fully
happened.
accept my responsibility. It finally happened, and
Happens to
I
the best of us.
felt so awful. Like, for that
Mm.
entire weekend, I was like, "I just screwed everyone." But, of course, everyone made it to camp. Everything was fine. But in my head, I'm
But it
like,
did
"I
not
ruined the entire trip."
feel fine.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And then, we get to camp, and boys are so interesting to me, and I'm so thankful for my guide leaders
Mm.
because
Boys are interesting.
there's one kid who I
Uh-oh.
just really struggle with,
Uh-oh.
and he's just kind of like he's that bully,
Ah.
and no matter how much we talk to him, like, it just goes in one ear and out the other.
Oh, he's not responsive at all.
No, and it's
Mm.
affecting the rest of the group now. And so I'm, like, really struggling with, like, how do I, one, understand this kid?
Right.
Because he doesn't open up to anybody. He doesn't talk to anybody,
Hmm.
about, like, the real issues that are going on.
But he
Like,
comes to
he
camp with
wants to be that funny kid, so if it's super quiet, he'll, like, yell something. Um, if,
oh,
like,
like,
somebody
hey,
does something, he has to be better than them.
look at me, I'm cool.
100 he, like I know he's craving so much attention
Sure.
because he's acting out, right?
Yeah.
And it's just gotten to the point where I'm like, "I'm done."
Mm.
Have you ever had,
Well,
do you ever have those kids in your ministry?
oh, yeah, 100%. The kid who is trying to get all the attention on himself or herself,
Mhm.
right? The one who has to be the focal point of attention, the
Totally.
one who doesn't care if their joke is going to hurt somebody else's feelings because it makes them
Right.
feel better.
Yeah, and, like, how do you deal with that?
Oh, yeah, no, okay, that's a hard one. So would be a couple questions that I'd want to know. Like, is this kid a regular or a visitor? Right. So
Yeah.
I would sparse that out two different ways.
Mhm.
If they are a visitor, then maybe somebody who's kind of new to the ministry, I would maybe take a smaller, not a smaller approach. I would be more careful in how I approach things. If they're a regular, and I've known this kid for a while, like, hey, they've been coming for a year. I'm
Mhm.
gonna, I'm gonna be a little bit more hard nosed with that kid, especially that
Right.
guy. I mean, I'm honestly, for me, I'm thinking of some girls in my ministry who aren't exactly being very kind at the moment, and
Oh, yeah.
so um, so that kind of like frames how I go to the next step. But the next thing that I want to know, if this kid's seeking out attention, like, what is home life and what is school life? Like, those are
Right.
two things I really would want to know. You
Yeah.
know, our mom and dad recently divorced? Um, do mom and dad show affection to this kid? Or are they at their wits' end? I just had a parent the other day post this really, kind of painful, hey, I love my kid, but oh man, I'm struggling with
Mm.
my child. So, like, okay,
And it's one of the kids in your ministry?
right, yeah. And so the idea of going, okay, do our parents aware, or are they oblivious? And that's part of the problem, is that they don't know, or they don't care, right? Because that would be hard.
Yeah.
And I
And I
think you
think
take that tack with either one, right? I think my thing is to say, all right, parents, what's going on? Because parents might not know.
true.
Kid could be completely fine when mom and dad are in the room.
Right.
But when mom and dad aren't in the room anymore, bully comes out.
Yeah.
And so best case scenario is, hey, can I get some coffee with you? I want to talk about Brian. I don't know your kid's name. I want to talk
Right.
about Brian.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you say, hey, I've noticed Brian acting out. I've noticed Brian doing this. Is this a behavior you're familiar with? Does he do this at school? And then to parents, I would say, hey, help me figure out what's the best way. What have you found that works at home when this is going on?
Yeah, that's
You
really
know,
good.
and that way you're not saying, parent, I'm going to attack you because your kid's messing up everything. But I was like, hey, if you've been dealing with this at home, what's some tools that you've used that you think would work well in my toolbox?
Yeah.
That way you can say, hey, parent, clue me in, help me out here.
Right.
But then you've got the other side of, you might have a parent who doesn't know and then becomes super emotional because
Yeah.
you're telling them, hey, your kid's a bully. Obviously you gotta step on that carefully.
Totally. And I
But
think yeah.
go ahead.
No, so like with this family in particular, like their child can do no wrong.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. And he's an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And parents, like, how dare you even think my child could do something bad?
So have you had some conversation with the parent?
I've talked with mom a little bit, and
Mm.
it always ends up being like my fault. And like, yeah,
Have
it's
have parents observed? Have you invited parents to come hang out?
I haven't.
That would be like my next step. I'd be like, hey, I'd love for you to come and hang out with us at youth group and
Hmm.
just kind of see what's going on. Give them a job, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, I've got this job I want you to do, and
Yeah.
then one of two things happens. Kid is all of a sudden amazing
Right. That's why I'm
because
like, he's
parents
gonna
are
totally be
around,
like the perfect angel.
right? And hey, that's a win. Okay, so
That's true.
now, granted, you've got a deeper issue. You've got a heart issue you've got to address there eventually with him.
Right.
Or parent sees what's going on, and parent can either react with, oh wow, yeah, you're right, that is out of order, or that is a little bit out of line, or like, I don't see what the problem is, he's just being funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you've reached out to parents, or even like a teacher, if you've got that kind of relationship, that would be like my step. And then after that, sometimes with kids who are bullies, or are seeking attention, I do try to give them a job,
Oh,
because
smart.
maybe they're like, they just don't feel invested.
Hmm.
Maybe they don't feel like they um, are have like an opportunity for an outlet or something. So like
Yeah.
this kid who seeks attention, maybe he would be freaking amazing at leading a game. And if
True.
you give that kid, now again, there's a hard place because you don't want to celebrate
Right.
his behavior,
And
right?
I'm terrified
Because
of giving him a mic.
right, you don't want to reward that necessarily,
Yeah. And I'm
but
like, I don't know
there's
what you're gonna say.
right, and so maybe you invite him up as a co-host for a game and see how that works, or give him some announcement job. Hey, I want you to make this announcement. Here's your spread. Here's your sheet. Don't read off
Right.
the sheet. Something like that. Maybe see if that's a thing. I've also, that same kid though, I've had success with that kid being in the back.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
like with your volunteer who like works the sound booth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that can be an involved place. Like, okay, I got to press the buttons. I got to do this stuff, and because they've then got something to do, they're able to focus their energy towards that task.
That's not a bad idea.
So sometimes giving that student a job
Yeah.
helps,
Kind of
because
give him a little responsibility.
yeah. And so what did somebody say? Instead of calling students up, instead of calling students out, we call students up.
I love that.
Someone smarter than me said that. I don't know who it was. But the idea of going, look, I think maybe it's possible that the reason you're acting out is because you need to be called up, right? I see potential in you. You could do more things, but you need to be called up. Or even, even at some point you're going like, hey, kid, there are new kids who come in to our ministry, and I don't even have anybody to point them to. Can you be the kid who I point them to and
Mm.
say, hey, he's a lot of fun, hang out with him, and that way his energy is more relationally focused. Now your student better,
Right.
right? You
Yeah.
know,
Like certain things where I'm like, yeah, no.
so yeah, what would probably work best with them.
Yeah.
But for me, it has been a calling up that has helped. Now, obviously, there've got to be some times where you go, hey, look, man, I know you're trying to be funny, but you made a joke. Did you see how that person reacted to it?
Right.
Like you hurt their feelings. And I need you to A, go apologize to them, but B, also I need you to think about like your words have power.
Right.
Like your words matter. And people will listen to you, and you can either make the group better or you can make the group worse.
Right.
And if you keep on doing this, you're going to make the group worse. And do you want to be the reason somebody doesn't come around anymore?
Yeah. Which we've started happening, right? They're like, no, we don't want to go when he's there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's an issue.
It is. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to get that, calling that kid up at some point, I think is helpful. But it is true that you are going to have to call him out at some point and be like, do you see your behavior? Or even better, and I found this sometimes, when they come up to you and like, oh man, this happened, and I can't believe that kid did this to me. You can go, well, you know what? That's exactly how you've been treating other people.
Right. Like, hey, do you remember when you did that to that person?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like, yeah, I'm not saying that's like I'm glad that happened to you, but
yeah,
maybe you needed to see that perspective.
Right.
Like, hey, when this happens to you, it's a big deal. And then sometimes that student just needs to go into high school ministry.
But honestly, I'm like, I still have another year with you.
Right. But once
all right, we're going to learn some things in 8th grade.
Yeah. Once that, and then maybe even you've got like a leader who's like, hey, leader, your job, this kid's buddy. That is
I have
your
one leader
job.
who like is so good about that too, especially with this one kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually one of the ones who runs our tech booth. I think that's a huge, like, that could be a really big win.
To like pair them on a weekly basis.
To be like, hey, kid, you're going to go work this time with this. Like, I'm going to train you on this and you're going to work with Kevin.
Yeah.
I think he would love that.
Well, that could be hopefully a way to like kind of focus his energy a little bit, right?
Right. And be like, hey, if you're, being a bully, like if you're literally making people feel bad about themselves, like you're going to lose that privilege.
Yeah.
Of getting to work with him.
No. And so, yeah, this is something you want to do. Like you enjoyed spending time with Kevin. You like working the booth. But if I see you being a jerkwad, then I'm going to take that I'm going to take that privilege away.
Right.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. You can work back to it. But
yeah. And then you get to the deeper issue. Why?
Right.
Because there's a hard issue going on there too.
100%.
Right? So there's surface
like
level
people are going to hurt people.
Mm-hmm. So there's surface level stuff to deal with for sure, and that's the right away. But then the why, like why do you see the need to get attention? Yeah. Why do you have to laugh at other people's expense? There's something going on there.
100%. Yeah.
Hey, maybe you've got a problem kid listener out there. Maybe you've got that one student who you just can't wait to punt up to the high school ministry. What do you do with your problem kids? What are some steps that you take? And if you know what those are and can give Michelle or I some advice, would love to hear it. Reach out to us, let us know.
Please.
But, please, and thank you. We'd love to hear from you guys. Y'all are amazing. Thanks so much for listening. Do the whole internet thing, like, share, leave a review on iTunes, because it makes us feel good to read those. It is self-serving, 100%.
This is true. I would also like to end with how we ended camp, which is by breaking 2 windows.
You broke 2 windows.
It was a long weekend for us.
Did you personally break these windows?
I did not. It was 30 minutes before we were leaving.
Shut up.
Yeah, no joke. They were in the game room playing with like, we have foosball and there's like pool tables and carpet ball. And a couple of the students decided to do an experiment. Of course. And a pool ball went straight through a window. And it literally shattered the window adjacent to it as well.
Oh my goodness.
It was
30 minutes before you're leaving.
30 minutes before we're getting on the bus.
That's the best way to leave camp.
It was great. It was so many firsts for me this camp trip.
Now you got them out of the way, Michelle.
I got them out of the way. And that Mount Herman, they just know our group so well now.
Oh, I bet they are so ready for you to come back next year.
Luckily, they were like, it happens all the time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
This is student ministry.
She made me feel a little better.
Oh, good.
And my kid felt so bad. So that was nice.
It helps when the kid knows they've messed up.
He felt so bad. Like he was crying. He's my 8th grader. And he was so nervous that they weren't going to invite us back next year. Because he was graduating. He was like, what if you guys don't get invited next year?
You're right,
kid. It was really sweet.
It's probably going to be your fault. You're right.
So I was like, yeah.
Oh, man.
We love you guys.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.